Hey everybody, welcome back to Money Body Goals. This is episode 12. Thanks for still being with us, and we still love making videos, so we're going to continue this journey.
But we're going to go on a little vacation first.
Yeah.
So,
We will take you guys along with us.
yeah, planning on doing a vlog recap of the trip.
Yeah.
And then we'll get back into the swing of things in July.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're new here, my name is Rianne DeCastro. I'm a financial planner and a wealth coach.
And I'm Dalton DeCastro, and I am a personal trainer and coach as well.
So today we wanted to share some big news.
Mm-hmm. This is a pretty big deal in our life, and we've only shared this with a few people, so you guys are about to
Hear
it.
I don't even know if I'd share it on my personal page, but we are competing together this year.
In a bodybuilding show.
Yeah, it's just something that's been on my bucket list ever since we got married, pretty much. And you started getting really into wanting to compete. And I've competed in a couple of shows in the past. The last time was back in 2017. So comeback season.
Yep. So if you guys don't know this, I competed for my first time ever last year. I did 2 shows. I did the Toronto show in August, and I came first and won first overall. And then I qualified for the championship show in Texas, where I came second in my class. So that was a really great first year of competing for the first time. And my goal and intention has always been to do a CPA show, which is Canadian federation. So I'm going to be doing a show in November, and Rai has decided that we're going to actually do one together. So she's also going to be competing alongside me, and we're going to be prepping together. So it's going to be quite the journey, and you guys are definitely going to be able to see it firsthand. It'll be an exciting ride, to say the least.
Yeah, we'll be pretty transparent about all of our ups and downs throughout the prep process. Just living together and both being on prep is going to be interesting. But I just think I'm in a really good place mentally and physically. I'm just ready to make that commitment again and go through the process of dieting and just bringing my best self every day.
Mm-hmm.
For me, in the past, dieting hasn't been the hardest thing. What's normally hardest for me is pushing through the workouts and following a program and just having to be as perfect as I can. And just having the discipline to get to the gym when I don't feel like it is definitely going to be my biggest struggle. But like I said, I feel like I'm in a really good place now where that's something that I can totally see myself just being able to push through and giving it my all.
Yeah,
I'm just excited to see over the past 8 years of technically being in an off season maintenance phase, kind of just what that muscle that I've put on in the past few years is going to look like when I'm stage lean.
Yeah. When I was in my prep last year, pretty much all the food that I was eating anyways for prep, she was eating anyway also. So I don't think the diet side is actually going to be very hard for us. I know when it comes to the diet side, I get pretty locked in, and she's also really good with locking in for the diet. So that's not going to be the hardest part. I think it's going to be our energy and fatigue management is going to be one of the most challenging things, because that's the hardest thing I struggled with last prep. Was I was just literally tired 24/7.
Yeah.
So whenever I had no energy, she had to pick up and be the one who had more energy. So this time we're both not going to have a lot of energy. So
it's going to be more of a trade-off where we're just going to have to check in with each other on a daily basis and be like, okay, I'm at a 20%. If you're at a 40, can you do the meal prep today or something,
Yeah, I think it'll be just more like daily tasks. So just little things around the house. We're probably going to have to set up a system, figuring out who's going to do what, regardless if they had energy or not. Yeah. We always have to make sure the bare minimum things get done around the house. We're probably not going to be doing anything exciting in the sense of trying to do renos in the house, just the two.
Oh, absolutely not. No, the bathroom reno is definitely going to be postponed for
a year, but that's okay. Because when I was in my prep, she was doing a bunch of house renovation stuff, DIY things. I just didn't have the energy for it. So that was a bit challenging, but she made it work. So the categories that we're going to be competing in is I'm going to be doing the same thing as last year. I'm still going to be competing in men's physique. Like I said, it's going to be more of a show that can lead me in the direction of going towards a pro card. Essentially, if you don't know what a pro card is, it just means you can become a professional. Not saying...
But what does that mean exactly? What does being a professional bodybuilder mean?
It means that you can compete at professional shows and you can win money. And there's actually opportunities for you to go to the highest level competitions. Right now, what we're doing is just regional shows or qualifier shows. So that really doesn't mean anything that notable until you actually become a professional.
That wouldn't be like your new full-time job.
No.
You do that on the side of your main career.
Yeah, for sure. Like, well, some people do make that their full-time job. So there's so many layers to it, right? When you're doing these like low-level competition shows, we're all amateurs, right? When you're at an amateur level, even if you're the best of the amateurs, when you compare yourself to the pros, it's a whole other ballgame. And then once you become a pro, then you're competing against other pros. And those pros that go to the highest level shows like Olympia and the Arnolds, like those guys are on also another tier. So when you compare yourself to those people, it's a night and day difference. That's why I always tell people to stop comparing yourself to the people you see on social media, because you are not
ball game.
even remotely close to those people. And if you were, you'd already be there.
But it's okay to take that as inspiration.
You can be inspired by people, but the main thing is don't compare yourself to why don't I look like this or can I look like this? Because at the end of the day, it's very likely the answer is no. You will not look like Arnold Schwarzenegger at the end of the day, because the reason why you're not going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger is because you aren't Arnold Schwarzenegger. So
yeah, I think there's a healthy perspective and then an unhealthy perspective.
But most people have the unhealthy perspective.
I don't think so. Like, I see someone like, I think she's French Canadian, who is very well known in bikini.
Lorelei?
Yeah.
The one who won Olympia?
Yeah.
Like the current Olympia bikini champion?
Yeah, so she's someone that really stands out in my mind of having like an unreal physique. And I think I can admire what she's done and use that for inspiration.
That's different though.
And
you're using it as inspiration.
Right.
Not comparison. And a lot of people use it as comparison.
I guess if you're delusional.
A lot of people are delusional.
Okay.
Is because they don't actually...
Looking at someone like that is still going to motivate me to be my best self.
Yeah, and that's good. That's the health.
So if you're looking at that and saying, oh, like, I might as well just give up. I'm never going to look like that.
There's a lot of people that think like that.
Yeah.
People have very weak minds. Or that's why most people cannot pursue this side of fitness. There's a difference between pursuing this side of fitness and just joining the gym. You like fitness, cool, it's a hobby, awesome. People who make this into their career and life, those are people on a whole other mental ball game than you, because they don't let their weak mind defeat them and say, I'm going to compare myself. I'm going to always be depressed because I can't look a certain way.
Yeah, of course.
So you have to just change your mentality, right?
Yeah, like something that works for me is I'm always comparing myself to myself.
Yeah.
How I've looked in the past and how I want to be better than that.
And that's how it should go.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you're actually going to be successful, because at the end of the day, there's always going to be something better than you.
And I think that gives you a really, really strong why.
Yeah.
Versus trying to chase someone else's
physique
accomplishments.
Yeah, exactly. Like, as long as you are constantly getting better, you're beating yesterday's version of you.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the one thing you should always chase.
And that's why I decided that I wanted to do this year.
Yeah.
And I do feel like it was kind of meant to be, because where we were going with this is they added a category for women called fit model. And it's essentially what bikini used to be. Like the time around when I was competing, the front pose is the same. It's not the bikini pose that they do today.
Yeah, the criteria is very similar.
It's a very lean, like less muscular look compared to the standard that bikini is at today. Like, these girls are friggin' jacked
And also really like shredded in certain areas. Like, I think fit model is like the happy balance of you can do fit model and not be feeling as shitty as you probably will feel if you were trying to do bikini. Because this is a hot take and I'm about to say it. I think a lot of girls who compete in bikini naturally should honestly just be in fit model. Unless you're like the really great top tier bikini girls, I think a lot of the girls that do bikini are actually going to do way better if they just did fit model. And that's just my opinion. It's not a...
Yeah, I mean, for me to have the current standard of what bikini should look like I'd have to gain so much weight to put on 10, 15 pounds of muscle.
Better quality muscle in the right areas too.
And gaining weight, first of all, is just not good for my mental health. Like, I'm the most confident when I maintain like a certain amount of leanness. Not in a healthy amount, but you know what I mean? Like, I just don't think I could function if I was
you just
carrying a lot of weight on me.
Yeah, Rye's not someone who's ever going to be like doing a dirty bulk and get chomped.
Like, I would just feel so insecure, and I just personally don't want to be that muscular. Like, I don't want a really muscular upper body.
Yeah, and that's completely fine.
I want like the Pilates, toned arms, toned back, abs.
So
That's when I feel my most confident. And I don't think people should like judge me for wanting to do fit model and not bikini.
I don't think anyone will. I don't think anyone. And that's the funny thing is the people who are not within the fitness space, when they see what Rye's doing, they'd be like cheering her on. They'd be super happy for her. They're not going to be like, oh my God, you're such a quitter for going into fit model versus bikini. But then you have the people who are also in the fitness space who are actually bodybuilders and they compete regularly. The people who are judging you in that space are people whose opinions don't matter, especially because they're not pros. Like, I don't know how many pros are actually going and looking down on people that are amateurs and being like, wow, the fact that you did fit model instead of bikini is embarrassing. It's like, no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
Because we're all amateurs, regardless of if you're the best of the amateurs. If you're still not a pro, I'm sorry, but your opinion is super invalid. Like, when you're a pro, you can start talking to the other amateurs like you're the best. But right now, everyone's on the same playing field.
Yeah, and I think I just came to the conclusion that I just don't care what other people think. Like, I'm doing this for myself. And something that helped me get that perspective was like seeing Chloe, who we talked about in the last podcast, like her journey and the fact that she just literally does not care what other people are going to say about her.
Yeah.
Like that, that's been in the back of my mind. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I really want to compete with you. I want to go through this process again and see what I'm going to look like on stage. And it's like, whether I'm in fit model or bikini, who really cares?
The difference, though, between Rye's journey and Chloe's journey, and we're not doing this as a comparison to put Chloe down, is that I'm not going to let her step on stage if she's not stage ready. That's just a fact. Like, we're not...
I wouldn't let myself.
Because one, we are both competitive people, and she even admitted that if she's going to do this, she wants to at least be competitive. Hence why fit model makes way more sense, because it's not that you're trying to, oh, I'm just going to do fit model so I can be the number one. It's more like, I want to be competitive against other fit model contestants and not go into bikini.
I don't want to look like the odd one out.
Yeah, that's like if I decided to do opens men bodybuilding, like I'm going to get shit on.
Yeah.
So I would never enter that category because I'm not built for that category. I'm not at the position to fit that criteria. And also I don't think I ever want to do that. I'm happy with my category that I'm in. But speaking of Chloe, so she did compete. This is an update. She competed, I believe, the past weekend. I'm not going to mention placing because I don't think there was one. Like, I don't think she was like a top 5 or anything, but she actually did win an award at that show. I don't know exactly what the award was, but I think it has something to do with just like her journey, her grit, yeah, all that stuff. So like, good for you, Chloe. Congratulations on the show. She actually is now 20 weeks out from another show.
That's the thing that I really admire is she did the show. Like, she probably didn't place, who cares? But the whole journey and experience even motivated her to want to try it again and bring a better package.
Yeah. Like in 20 weeks, she can definitely do more good damage. Like she's going to look way better for the stage in 20 weeks. So good for her for continuing the journey. We look forward to seeing in 20 weeks what that's going to look like.
Yeah.
We'll definitely do an update when we get a chance to see what she looks like next peak week.
The last podcast we did got a good number of views. And so I really wonder if it's people who are aware of her journey who were tuning in, or if it was more on like the diet tips that we were kind of talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd love to hear like your feedback if it was the dieting aspect, if that's something you want to learn more about what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially once we start our prep after our vacation, it'll be interesting for you guys to see what that prep actually looks like.
But I'm just so excited to like be on stage day and like get photos with you together. And I think it's just a really cool thing to be able to look back on and be like, yeah, like we did that.
Yeah.
Especially in our 30s too.
Yeah.
And if we have kids, like we can show them photos of us doing this and we'll be like, yeah, this is the reason, like, we didn't have kids right away. We were busy doing a bodybuilding show.
Yeah. Are being jacked.
And getting rich.
Money, body, gold, baby. So yeah, that's our big update. I think it's a really big deal, in my opinion. I think we're in the position in our lives that we're ready to do this, because when she was competing, I don't think I was nowhere near ready to touch the stage. And then last year when I was competing, I think Rye wasn't like there yet for her decision to compete.
Yeah.
It was actually this year when she decided.
I think you just need to be in a really good, have a good balance just with life, with your career. Because as someone who switched from having an income and going into a career that is where I'm self-employed, like obviously I've had to navigate a lot of things and focus on building my business and prospecting and going to events and just working on my social media content. So now that I just feel like I have like a good handle on everything, it's like I'm ready to kind of shift the focus to this.
Yeah. And one of my clients actually mentioned this. It's nice because people want to see a story. So a lot of people, not saying that, oh, wow, we're going to go viral, but it's more like people that are actually watching our podcast, they're going to want to follow along with the journey of like, oh, wow, like we're so curious to see what it looks like for a husband and wife to go do a bodybuilding show, right? Because people that are not like really deep into this world of bodybuilding and like this fitness space, they're curious. Like they're wondering, like, what does that even look like? Like, how do they function? What do they eat?
My colleagues at the office are always so curious about like what's in my lunch bag. I brought a full lunch bag of stuff one day with my food scale, and they're like, "Hey, show and tell, like, let's see what's in the bag. What are you eating today?" They're just so invested.
Yeah, that's good though. They're curious, and same thing with some of our viewers. They're just gonna be very curious, and they're gonna want to know what the prep is gonna look like and how it's gonna go.
Yeah, and it's nice that like even we can document it and look back on it too.
Yeah, a big purchase. So talking about finances now, a big purchase that I would like for us to make, I believe Rise also agreed to this, is we want a treadmill.
I love how you worded it like that.
We had the suspense, I want people to be like, oh my God, big purchase. What are they talking about? Yeah, we want to get a treadmill.
I just like how you said, I believe you've agreed. Can't confirm.
Just because it's going to make our lives easier during our prep. There's going to be a lot of morning fasted cardio. And for us to both get up, like at 5 a.m. just to go to the gym and then come back, get ready for work, and then go back to a gym. It's just a lot of process.
It would be really convenient. My thing is we have a gym like 7 minutes away.
Yeah.
So it's just taken me a while to justify it, but it's the ease of convenience, just being able to wake up and like jump on the treadmill.
You can literally be in your PJs, wake up.
Yeah, it's like
hop on the treadmill.
No one cares what you look like.
Yeah. You're not getting ready.
Watch TV or an episode of something at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when we're deeper in our prep and we're just like essentially zombified. The last thing you want to do.
The word?
Zombified? I think so. Comment below to let us know if zombified is a word.
And also let us know if you have a good recommendation for treadmills.
Yes.
Because when it comes to big purchases, I do tons of research and I'm comparing so many different types and the reviews, and it's a lot of work. So.
Originally, I was gonna get the little walking pad that people have been buying, but she didn't want that.
Yeah.
And then I also look back on it, and I think it's not a realistic purchase because it's just a big square. I want something that I can actually lean onto. I want something that I can mount my phone when I watch videos. So
we need something with a high incline.
Yeah, and something that can throw it onto a high incline. So we're interested in making the investment, not like $100 walking pad.
Yeah, and the thing is, when it comes to big purchases, like let's say it's, I don't know, $1,500, $1,000. That's not something like, yes, we can afford it, but I like to kind of look at the next few months. And with our trip coming up, it's like, okay, maybe now is not the best time to buy something like that.
Yeah.
Like, let's try to space out our financial obligations and get that when the timing is a bit better.
Yeah. Well, and that's why we said when we're back from our trip, because it's the time we're going to be getting way more serious with our prep. Things are going to be, moving.
Yeah. Like we're going to be using credit cards mostly in Greece. So I don't want to like make a big purchase and then worry about how much we're racking up the credit card and then having to pay that off. And yeah. Just trying to be strategic with stuff like that. Speaking of finances, another one of my reels went viral recently.
I called it.
And so with this one, it was talking about the median amount that 35-year-olds have invested in Canada, and invested in terms of TFSAs, RSPs, and non-registered investment accounts. So it didn't factor in owning real estate or what people's net worths are. And I thought this would resonate with a lot more people compared to using the term average. But it's really shocking that I'm still getting the same type of comments where people think it's absolutely like unbelievable that someone at 35 could even have $30,000 invested. And I am genuinely concerned.
$30K invested at 35 and people are just mind blown. That's wild to me.
It's really sad. Like obviously there are a lot of people struggling, but I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to comment on because obviously I don't know their specific situation.
Everyone's in a different financial situation. And it's not like we're trying to shame anybody who isn't in that position.
Yeah.
It's also crazy to think that they think that it's impossible.
Right. I think a lot of it comes down to your own limiting beliefs. And I really do think that if you want to build wealth, then you genuinely need to want that bad enough, because otherwise you're going to continue to make excuses. You're going to spend your money on things that you probably don't need, and you're just not making the sacrifices that you need to be able to achieve like a certain amount of wealth.
So imagine taking everything she just said, part of the financial world, and then using that towards our fitness. And that's why I talk about how we have so many parallels, because everything she just said word for word, if you just replaced like the financial side to it with like a fitness side and like goals for weight loss, weight gain, whatever it is, it's exactly the same. And that's also why you see so many people who in your comments are just like on this level of just they can't believe it's even possible, or
yeah, like they think I'm making the statistics up, and they're just like,
oh, I can't do it, so no one else.
They're like, this is such poor taste that you would even talk about something like this. And they're like, how dare you ask me how much I have invested?
Which no one asked.
I'm like, it was kind of a rhetorical statement. Like I'm not asking anyone specifically to share their details with
people. Are so weird online to go on someone's page, comment, how dare you to even ask how much I have. It's like, no one cares about who you are. I'm sorry, we were not targeting you specifically. We didn't tag you in the post.
Yeah, honestly, I've just turned off the notifications whenever a post like that gets so many views and comments, just for my sanity.
Oh God.
But I don't know. It's just it's tough to see people who are so close-minded.
Yeah. And also, like, that's why I don't really, if someone's asking for help, that's perfectly fine. But for the people who are refusing any forms of help, whether it be to save more money or whether it be like weight loss or something like that, I don't really feel bad for you when I try to give you tools to help you and you decide to ignore everything I've said. And also you try to make it like a twisted story and act like we're the bad guys. We're just trying to help you. So whether it be you helping them make money and like...
And I don't know, sorry to cut you off, but I don't know why my reels keep reaching like the wrong side of Instagram.
It's because it's like negative attention is good attention.
Yeah.
And you've obviously tapped into an area where it's very sensitive.
It's like I wish I was getting people who are excited about investing and growing their wealth and they want to achieve financial freedom. But unfortunately, that's just not the type of people who are commenting.
There's also just such a large group of population of people who thrive in negative space. It's almost like they would rather be in disbelief and say negative things than have anything positive to say. And that's the craziest thing about kind of just, this is off topic, but just the world in general.
I know.
They love it. So it's like, oh, there's no way she's right. I'm going to have to comment something negative.
But like you said, people doing better than you are not going to, those people aren't the ones judging you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to word that. What did you say?
Like, people who are doing better than you don't have the time to judge what you're doing. And if anything, they don't actually care. It's like people in the gym who are like the fittest of the fit. The people who are the fittest of the fit in the gym are not looking down on the least fit person in the gym because they don't care what they're doing. If anything, they're happy for those people. Same thing with rich people. I don't think rich people have any care for what poor people are doing because they're not like worried about what that person is doing.
They're probably going to be the first people to help you,
give you advice
if you have a question and you're approaching them.
Yeah.
But they would never just write a negative comment on someone's post like that,
or talk down on you in person.
Yeah.
They're not going to be like, hey man, like you suck. Meanwhile, there's people who are like below you who will talk to you and be like, you suck.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on?
Unfortunately, this is just what comes with like putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
And is it going to discourage me from continuing to make content? No, because I know that the right people are going to see what I'm putting out there and the knowledge that I want to share and try to help those who actually are in a place where they can be receptive of what I'm trying to educate people on.
And also you get to see what other people are like, and you're so glad that that's not the way you think. That's why I like to see it, because I'm like, wow, this really broadens the perspective for me of how people think, and I'm so thankful that that's not how I was raised, to think with that kind of mentality.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so thankful that you and I are not in that victim mentality mode where so many people happen to be in that mode always, like 100% of the time. So they're always the one that has to be right because they're the ones who are being wronged. It's like, okay, that's why you're at where you are.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about you. I'm focusing on me. And it's the same thing with, like, I've said this already, but like the gym and the finances, it's like when I'm in the gym, I'm not looking around worrying about what other people are doing. I'm so focused on myself. Same thing with people who are trying to make money. People who are trying to build businesses and make their money are not worrying about what other people are doing because they're working on themselves. They're not out here, oh my God, so-and-so is doing this, but like they're not doing well. Like they're not thinking about that. That's going to stray them off the wrong mental path. And that's not going to lead you to success is when you're worrying about what other people are doing, especially people who are doing worse than you. People who are doing better than you want to know, okay, what are those people doing so I can be like that, right? That's why I look up to people in the bodybuilding world. Like, I got to learn what these guys are doing. I got to learn all the things to help me be better instead of so-and-so's doing this. I'm not worried about that person. I don't care.
Yeah. And I think that's why like we built this podcast, and in the description we even say like this is for ambitious achievers.
Yeah.
Because this is just our perspective and the way that we think about things, and hopefully it does resonate with a lot of people watching.
Yeah.
And someone asked me about like what's our retirement number. So
like age,
how much to have invested. Like I honestly think we're gonna have like multi-millions by the time we retire.
Wow.
Just because like we've done so well up to this point because of how disciplined I am and how money motivated I am, that we'll probably have like 10, 15 million by the time we're in our 60s.
Wow.
That's like 30 plus years from now. Imagine what we can accomplish between now and then.
Mm-hmm.
And my main motivator is like, I don't want to be 60 years old and be forced to continue to work. Like, I want to have so many options of like how I want to live my life, even by our 50s.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of like the reason why I am so disciplined and so like obsessed with investing, because it is true. The earlier you get started, the easier it is.
Yeah. Rye's going to be the richest pro fit model out there.
But if I want to be more realistic, like with just in general, I'd say aim for at least 3 million. And that's net of taxes. So depending on what type of account that money is coming from, it's taxed differently if it's in an RSP versus a TFSA or a non-registered account. So what they're saying is today you would need 2 million to essentially live off of 80,000 a year. But if retirement is still ways away for you, then shoot for 3 million because of inflation.
I think what we should do for next episode is talk about situations for people that are not in our situation. So for us, we are dinks, right? We're dual income, no kids. What's the S?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Normal for
yeah, exactly.
all of us.
So that's the situation we're in, and that's why we're able to do what we do. I feel like there's a lot of people who are not dinks that are listening to this and they're like, how can I manage to be able to do all those things when I have 5 kids? I'm working 2 jobs and
yeah,
I get it because that's a completely different situation.
A mortgage, and I get that it's expensive.
Yeah. So I think what we can do for our next episode is like figure out ways to talk about what we do that can be realistic for people who are not dinks. When you were saying all these things, I was thinking about that. I'm thinking I can picture a lot of people who are like, this doesn't sound doable for their current situation. Not because they're poor and not because they're not money motivated or anything like that, but it's more like situationally they are in a different one. Yeah. So how do we...
I get that like people are in their 30s and 40s and they might just be starting out with investing and having a little bit of disposable income that they can set aside.
Yeah.
So I totally understand that, and we can definitely...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it could be perfect for the fitness side too, because I've had conversations with some people and they're like, man, like I don't work at a gym, so I can't do what you do. I don't have the freedom to just go to the gym for 3 hours of my day and then do cardio for another hour of the day. So like, I get that. That's realistic. But I also have clients who work 12-hour shifts and still manage to kick ass. So it's like, how do you learn how to pivot when you're in specific situations?
Yeah.
Would be a good
I think my biggest advice is just have a goal that's realistic to you and have a strong enough why that you really, really want to try hard to achieve that.
Yeah.
Like, let's say your daughter really wants to do competitive swimming. Like, you're going to do everything you can to make sure that happens and find the money to be able to fit that into your budget. So why can't you do the same for, let's say you want to have 10,000 invested by the end of the year? Like, look at it even on a very micro level and analyze everything about your life and see what you need to do to make that happen.
Yeah, realistic sacrifices is the thing that people don't want to do.
Yeah.
They don't want to get rid of the things that make them comfortable in order for them to be successful at the end of the year. And that's a main problem that I see for whether it be financial or fitness. It's like the little tiny things that you do on a day-to-day basis are actually the things that are ruining the chances of you achieving your goal. You just don't want to believe it. And that's because also no one's really telling you that's what's causing you from getting further and further from that goal. So yeah, so I think next episode, what we'll do is we'll break down kind of like strategies for people who are not dinks, so that you can make the things that we say a little bit more, like they can resonate with you a little bit better. So I think that's everything for today's episode. Comment down below what you guys thought and also what possible topics we can have for other episodes. If you haven't done so, please subscribe and show us a like button.
And we're going to start making some shorts for YouTube. So if you're not following the YouTube channel yet, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on those.
Yeah.
And we probably won't see you guys until July because we're going to be away for a bit. So hope everyone has an amazing start to the summer and we'll see you in the next one.
Perfect. Peace.